So today we're going to be covering between Andrew and I. Andrew, of course, is the senior manager of CCaaS sales. I'm heading up the marketing on the CCaaS side. We're going to be talking about product basics today. We're going to be talking about understanding the buyers, and we're going to be talking about some conversation starters for those buyer audiences. If any of you folks on this webinar have attended the last two Wednesday webinar sessions that we had, you would have seen our material on prospecting and pitching. So we did two sessions on that. If you haven't seen those, I encourage you to check out the Intermedia Partner channel on YouTube, where you can see those training webinars, and of course everything else that we put up there. But those are the ones I'm referring to. It shows you how to identify a CCaaS opportunity. It shows you how to go through a whole prospecting exercise. It shows you how to pitch at a basic level. This session today is going to help you enhance those pitches by giving you some basic understanding of some of the top features, and also getting into the heads of the buyers who actually buy this product. So without further ado, let us jump right in. So like I said, we're going to be talking about product basics. We have a few slides on product basics and features that resonate most with the users, starting with the CCA. Now I'm going to bring in my good friend Andrew to shed some light on what these things are. Andrew, what are we talking about here? What is a CCA?
Yeah, and before I kind of jump in, for anyone that's on the call that hasn't actually seen the product live, which is possible, I suppose, we've done a lot of demos, but just in case you don't have anything to draw, connection with, reach out to your Intermedia rep immediately after this demo, after this presentation, and we'll book you into a product walkthrough so you can kind of tie the dots. But the CCA, that's the agent software. It's and we call it the CCA. It stands for Contact Center Agent, so nothing really special about it. But you hear us say the word CCA a lot. But this is where, and for those of you who've seen the product, it's not a phone, but it's where the agents log in to be part of the contact center group. It's how we establish availability, it's how we establish reports, and it's how we establish our skill-based routing sort of schema. Keep going.
Sounds good. Yeah, so admin portal. Let's move on from that. What is that?
Right. So instead of the application layer, which is what the CCA is, the admin portal is really your administrative control panel. It's a browser-based control panel that and the rules of how you access the portal are really derived from the user's profile. So an agent can get in there, have basic access. A manager can go in there, have limited access. And an administrator can go in there and have full access. But it's a browser-based and browser-agnostic based. So works with Safari, I like to say, where you can just go in, or even from a mobile device if you had to make changes to your contact center.
So it's nice that both the CCA and the admin portal are available in browser-based form. In fact, the admin portal is browser-based by default, right?
It's huge, and I don't want to make fun of Mac users because I think the world does that enough. But I mean, there's a lot of programs and software that Macs can't use, right? Even when you're running parallels.
We got a thumbs down for the Mac comment.
Mac users aside, we've definitely put things in the browser so they can be accessible from any OS. I mean, if you're running Linux, this thing will work as well.
All right, moving along. IVR, we hear about this a lot. You're not going to get into the CCaaS space without hearing IVR all the time. What's the big deal with IVR?
Interactive voice response. Thank you for calling. Press 1 for English, 2 for Spanish, right? Your enhanced auto attendant. And really, what the CCaaS product brings from an auto attendant perspective is that it aggregates all of your intake numbers, whether it's one number into or 1,000, and it allows the customer through those voice responses, interactive voice response, right? Allows them to select where they need to go. With our auto attendants, when we talk about CRM integration and integrating with third-party applications, we can even use that to make routing decisions. So IVR is really an advanced auto attendant. Sometimes even I just say auto attendant because IVR gets a little confusing, but that's what it means.
And we have complete customizability over the IVR. I know that from several examples from some customers who ask for very advanced builds or very customized builds, and we can take it in any direction that they want to take it in.
Read, write data, integrations, third-party applications, all of the above for sure. And then that's what ultimately we use at the routing level, right? So
Yeah.
for us, routing is ultimately how we deliver the call to the agent, and we make routing decisions based on a ton of variables, like the CRM or a third-party application can tell us what to route a call. A use case, customer calls in, the CRM says, "Oh, this guy owes us $1 million. He's in collections. Let's send him to we can send him directly to collections just based on a CRM." But things like rules-based routing or skill-based routing, which obviously based on a skill in a queue, we can route a call to an agent. We have a geo-routing feature, so based on somebody's calling line ID or based on their NPA and XX, right, area code and first 3 digits of their phone number, or even based on the full 10-digit phone number, we can make a very specific routing decision to a DID or a queue. And we even have this little feature, not to beat a dead horse here, Joe, but the preferred agent routing, and the use case is kind of neat on this, where an agent, I don't know, maybe you're having a conversation with the agent, the customer has to go and do something, and then they're going to call back. Okay, I'm going to go do this, I'm going to call you back. And often the customer wants to talk to the same agent. Hey, Bob, Mr. Agent, can I call you back? And of course, the agent is never allowed to give out their direct number. So we have this preferred agent routing product where the agent can flag the customer's phone number. And when that customer calls back for the next X hours or X days, it'll automatically be routed to that agent if they're available. And then if they're not, we have a routing rule. So little things like that, not to get too stuck on my high horse here on routing, but really, really different and cool ways that we can make routing decisions inside the application.
Exactly, and it's good to note how flexible we are with the requirements. This is the benefit with the solution. It could be custom. It could be tailored to any needs of any type of use case.
Absolutely. And people say the basics. How do you route your calls? To the longest agent waiting? Sure, that's kind of a default setting, but so much more than that, right? You know the story there, Joe? That's funny. When we route calls for Google Fiber, and I always love this, they actually have a CSAT routing rule where it goes, instead of the agent waiting longest, route the call to the agent with the highest customer satisfaction score for the day. So if
Right.
you're doing well at Google for that day, and you generally you're in a good mood, you're having a good time, you're going to get way more calls than the worst agent and be compensated as much.
Alrighty. Monitoring.
So we have a couple of monitoring options. We have real-time monitoring in Express Pro and Elite. Those are the 3 packages. And the real-time monitoring is Whisper Barge Monitor, right, where you can listen to someone in a live call. Those monitoring beyond the physical monitoring of the calls, in the monitor itself, we also offer near real-time statistics. So we slice incoming by IVRs, by queue, by skill, by agent, and we break it down in a whole bunch of global ways for you to slice and dice to get the view and the data that you need. And the nice thing about our monitoring tool, everything that's in there's in historical reports as well, right?
Here's a popular one that comes up all the time: integrations.
And we should add that one to the IVR one. But yeah, integrations, which is
Yeah.
what we were talking about. I mean, we have some CRM connectors already pre-built with like Zendesk and Salesforce and things like that. And this isn't just the screen pop based on a calling line ID. This is the ability to make a routing decision based on what the CRM says. Send a call to collections, right? VIP customers, those sorts of things. Beyond the reading the data, making a routing decision, we can also write data with the right CRM connector. So not only can you log into your CRM and see that there was a phone call from the customer, but you also see all of the other interactions from that customer and really be able to put together a holistic view of that, that customer's needs, et cetera. So CRM integrations, one of the big things that put us over the top for sure. And because we do custom integrations, for any application layer, as long as there's a REST API provided, it really opens up the realm of possibilities to customers that would normally not be able to have access to this type of solution. So
That's
custom
right.
integrations as part of our go lives is a really, really, really critical sales tool.
And it opens up different verticals as well. So it doesn't just have to be in retail or services or financial. I know in certain cases there are folks on the healthcare side. They have their own flavors of electronic healthcare record type platforms, which is like their flavor of CRMs that we can also tie into.
ERPs, EMRs,
Yeah.
there's all kinds of crazy words with them. But at the end of the day, it's the customer database where somebody, or ticketing system, or somewhere somebody's putting a note. If we can be provided with the REST API, I mean, the power of that tool is endless once you have those integrations.
All right. Here's where we really start to differentiate: reporting.
This is a bone of contention recently, but we've been building reports for the last 25 years, and deliberate reports. So, there's the case of building a report for the sake of building a report, but we build our reports in a very deliberate way. And often, the top 20, 30 reports that we offer a customer are more than enough than they will ever need. But our library has well over 4,000 reports, and that includes a lot of custom one-off type reports that we've created for partners. So we really work with your customer, or you, if it happens to be you on this call, when we're onboarding you and building out your IVRs and call flows, we're working with you to unlock those reports so that you have the right data, the right metrics that are important to you and the various stakeholders in the organization. But reports anxiety is a real thing, and we address it by having such a plethora of reports, and just also the ability on ad hoc to customize reports if we ever needed to as well.
It's true. We've seen cases where in where we're replacing other solutions. Like for example, I don't want to call any folks out here, but we recently did not recently, last year or so, we did a very large migration from one platform over to us.
Yes.
Let's say the company kind of rhymes with Nate by Nate, and and some of the customers, some of them were some very large public sector government customers, and they had some extremely defined reporting requirements
Yes.
that some of which they were meeting with that previous solution, and some that they could not do. So they
Yep.
were, in our pre-migration phase on the project management side, we're just making sure, okay, well, we want to match like for like, but at the same time, we want to know if there's anything that you want done, any types of reports that you need for your business that you would like to have but can't get. And we were just, I mean, the guy that we had doing all that, I mean, it was huge hugs and kisses whenever he walked into the room, because we were like superstars. We were doing everything that these different companies wanted, these different public sector departments and divisions and so forth. So our ability to customize on the reporting side is really what helps separate us from the competition in a lot of cases.
Absolutely. People have different needs, right? And not
Yeah.
every call center is going to be a little bit different, and what's important to one isn't important to another. And we find reports is just, it's problem solving tools, right? I've got a problem. Reports help me identify it and then fix it going forward. It's a good story about 8x8 though. Good job.
Yeah. Okay, recording.
So, we have audio, but also screen recording available only on the .NET CCA, not through the web CCA. But, recording a phone call, an interaction, even after that call's been transferred, maybe inside or outside the call center group, we can still hold and record that interaction. We track the time. So you truly have a cradle to grave solution, from the number the customer's dialed all the way out to the internal transfer, the external transfer, and the outcome of the call. But of course, we also have, screen recording that goes with that. And a lot of our requirements that come up recently around recording have been, for example, there's certain medical folks in the medical industry that are reaching out to us because they need recording to stay in compliance with their insurance vendors. So it's become more of not just hey, we need recording to evaluate and make our agents better. It's like I need recording if I'm going to hold on to my insurance eligibility from these vendors. And so
Yeah.
everything we do from a storage and access perspective is PCI, DSS 3.0. It's also HIPAA. And if you guys are talking to Canadian customers, we're also PIPEDA compliant. Don't ask me to tell you what PIPEDA stands for. I'd have to look it up.
I just love the sound of that,
Me
Pipeta.
too.
All right.
What is it? The PIPEDA.
Omnichannel, we hear this all the time. Now is our chance to explain what it is, why it's such a powerful feature.
Yeah, and I'm gonna take a line in the sand here. We get called out for saying omni-channel. We're truly multi-channel for now.
Multi-channel, yeah.
Yeah, and just for the folks on the call, it's splitting hairs in my opinion, but omni-channel sometimes refers to the seamless changeover from channel to channel. I'm in a chat and now I'm in a call and it was seamless with that agent. Can't support that yet, that seamless transition from channel to channel, but we do offer multiple channels. So we have the ability to queue up an email or a chat interaction or an SMS interaction and have it delivered inside the same appliance and application as your voice calls. But there's no seamless transition between those channels that would make it qualify for air quotes here, Omni. But no less valuable to you guys, because everybody you're going to speak to from a potential partnership or sales perspective, they're all thinking about chat, they're all thinking about email, and they're all thinking about SMS. But often they don't want to go into two disparate or three or four disparate systems. They want to keep it in one, the one hand to shake, so to speak. And we're able to deliver that for them now, which is a huge benefit for you guys.
It's one of my personal favorites because I'm the marketing guy. Dynamic notifications.
I'm surprised there's not more marketing speak under here. Actually, I'm impressed. So, dynamic notifications is a tough one because it has so many use cases. But I think the one everybody draws to is the doctor's office use case, the scheduling, the appointment scheduling use case. Where, and I get this. I don't know if you guys get it, but whenever there's a doctor's appointment a week before, I get the hey Andrew, it's just a message, right? You've got a doctor's appointment. It's with Dr. Potter. It's 2 o'clock on Friday. Press 1 to accept. 2 to cancel. That kind of thing. And our tool does that. So there's some, back-end API integrations to whatever tool we need to integrate with, but it sends out those custom messages to customers. So, hey Andrew, you have a doctor's appointment 2 o'clock Friday. Press 1 to accept, 2 to cancel. Our software introduces a third option. Press 3 to reschedule, and it'll actually connect back live to something. So it allows agents to backfill and reschedule appointments where other applications don't have that connect back feature, where it's just built into the an application sitting on the side. But because of that, we've seen other use cases, right? Hey, Mr. Customer, you have an overdue balance of $72.41. Press 1 to make a payment. And that goes right to a payment IVR. The customer doesn't even need to speak to a customer service rep. Or the other one is, obviously, Google Fiber is a good one. Hey, Mr. Customer, your technician will be at your house between 8 a.m. and 9 p.m. on Friday. Press 1 to accept. Obviously, they don't give you a bit that big of a window, making a joke. But, in-home appointments, right? So this really has a lot of legs, and it's one of the products that's in both our Pro and Elite. And it has a ton of legs, and almost any application or any use case you can kind of think of inside of a call center. This is a nice automation tool to really, obviously improve that customer outcome.
Yeah, and there's a lot of standalone solutions out there that do things like this. For example, in the automotive, in the auto dealer space,
Yes.
a lot of those guys use standalone, solutions that will help send out messages to you to remind you to bring in your car for service, or hey, we have a special deal on brake pads this month, or different types of things. But this is a feature that's built into our product. So if they were using uh, Intermedia CCaaS for their general contact center needs, this is something that would be baked in depending on what package they buy. So there's a lot more they could do with it than what their existing standalone solution offers.
Well, this is a good story you just brought up there, because we were talking about ERPs, right? So Cerner
Yeah.
is an ERP, one of the biggest in the world, and one of our customers uses Cerner, and they use their appointment reminder tool. But they still had, Joe, I think it was either 38 or 39% no-show rates on their
Yeah,
appointments in
yeah.
this hospital.
Mm.
We introduced this tool for them. We're doing a little Cerner integration for them as well. We've got this thing down to 10%, just under 10% in terms of the no-shows. That's massive. Like, I can't even think of how this hospital is still in business after having 38% no-shows on appointments. So just the ability to have the reschedule functionality, which most ERPs you hit, Joe, they have it, or EMRs, sorry, not ERPs. They have the dynamic notification tool, but not the connect back option. And that is the difference maker. And I think that's what we got to keep selling.
Two-way communication. Yeah.
You know it.
All right, agent scheduling and scripting.
So this is a neat thing. Doesn't come up too often, but we have a scheduling tool built into our application that helps with, electronic agent schedule, shift trading, custom reports, payroll integrations, those sorts of things. But another really neat feature that comes up is this, and we call it call scripting, but the idea of a sort of a call flow / workflow. And if any of you guys have called into a call center and you've caught an agent reading something off of a screen, you know exactly what I'm talking about. But the idea is, based on the customer's number, or maybe the number they dialed or the queue they selected, we could actually pop a full workflow, a full scripting tool for the agent to follow. Did the customer do this? Yes or no? And it takes you to the next thing. Okay, say this. Did they do? And this is something that end clients can build out. It's really big, for bigger and larger sort of accounts, or maybe folks that are representing a lot of clients like a BPO. But it's really effective because it allows your agents to focus more on the workflow and less focus more on what they're saying and less on the actual, where do I find what I need to do next. And we found that it actually, especially in more complex environments like the Google example, for lack of a better example, it improves the worst agent and improves their outcomes to be closer to the best agent, because they can focus on that talk track versus workflow. What would you add to that, Joe? I think some of our more complex medical clients use it as a matter of demand, especially complex government entities where there's a lot of complex forms and weird numbers and W7s and 5As that you have to switch out. Did they complete their W1? Okay, they have to add the W2 and the T2200s, and you know what I mean. That's really the use cases where it I think has legs.
I think so too. But even on the retail side, anybody that's in a seasonal type business would benefit from a lot of the agent scheduling features in
That's
with
a good
some of the stuff you
idea.
talked about,
For
the
sure.
schedule swapping and all this type of stuff. That when companies have to rapidly scale up or scale down to accommodate for seasonal sales and activities like that. This is, or even in the case of schools and universities that are also seasonal. They have intake of students going on at a certain time, and they may have different. They would have similar needs. That is, any type of seasonal need would be similar. So anybody who
Yeah.
operates on a seasonal type of business schedule
Well,
would benefit big time from
it's a good
this.
point. The scripting too on the same talk track. You're seasonal. You're not as an expert, maybe as a full time regular employee. The scripting tool is going to help
Yeah,
keep you
exactly.
honest. Yeah, no, you
Yeah,
nailed it. Which
evaluator.
so kind of an add-on to what we were just talking about. You need to get your worst agents up. I mean, that's the I have 10 agents. 5 of them are my best, 5 of them are my worst, 3 of them on the bottom are my absolute worst. I want to get those 3. I want to make them better. Evaluations is a really great way, and our evaluator basically is connected to the call recording engine, so you can take an audio recording, a video recording, and you can evaluate it. And the evaluator just allows you to build your own scoring templates. It has an annotation tool built into it so that you can really close the feedback loop when you're giving feedback to the agents. But because it's embedded in the product, whereas a lot of other platforms that are out there kind of bring in third parties for evaluation. I'm not going to throw anyone under the bus, but ours is embedded and built and it's native. So one, it's easy for us to build and include for the customer. We're always adding features and functions to it, but it's also a really, really effective sales tool. One of the most important tools I think we have in our arsenal outside of reports, obviously, is this evaluator. Because people talk about live monitoring, Joe, and Whisper and Barge and taking over
Mhm.
calls. That's rarely used. When you
Yeah,
want to improve an agent, you don't listen to all of their live calls. You listen to their evaluated calls and you pick the right ones so that you can obviously make an impact.
it's a supervisor's dream.
It is.
So now we're going to
Fascinating.
shift gears a little bit, right? We're going to shift gears and get into some of the buyer profiles,
Yes.
because this CCaaS product it's purchased on almost by a committee or a committee decision, and those committee members would be the budget holder, who also would most likely be the business user, or whoever is responsible for customer service in that company. And the company sizes it could be, in a very small company, it could be the owner of the company, or the CEO could also be the person who's juggling the customer service responsibilities. In a larger company, you may have somebody who's dedicated to customer care or customer service or customer operations. Anyway, those types of people are usually the budget holders for this product, because it's their mandate to make sure that the company that they're in is, they're providing the most positive customer experiences possible. And then moving along, the IT folks. So there's an IT team that would most likely be headed by an IT leader. These are the guys that know the nitty gritty of these solutions from a technical perspective. They also know what infrastructure the company has, and they would weigh in on these solutions from an influential perspective. They're the technical evaluator, they're the technical influencer. And then, of course, there's the users, the people who are using this on a daily basis, the agents, the supervisors, the management who's running reports and stuff like that. There will be different categories of users. But for the purpose of this session here, given that we have, we don't want to take up too much more time, we're going to focus on the budget holder slash the business user and the IT leader. So we want to start off by giving some fast facts on IT leadership. And let's pretend that that's a VP IT or a CIO there. He's looking out the window for divine guidance on what CCaaS solution do I need to choose to solve all these issues that we're having. I have a whole bunch of bad reviews online, and people like Andrew Boone and Joe Hurley have left, and I need to figure out how to fix this. So
And
he's
the
looking
customer
up,
service managers, you can't see this. He's in the background. He's actually yelling at him,
he's yelling at
trying to
him,
get him to solve his problems.
and then the CEO is on the other side yelling at him too. So he's trying to zone that out and get into a Zen space. So
Divine.
IT leadership fast facts. Winning their endorsement does not mean you will win the deal. Now, having said that, each case is different. we've seen an instance where we have a pretty large partner up here in Canada, and the customer service lead, who is the business user, was pushing for a particular solution. And then it was the IT leader that actually put his foot down and said, okay, see what you want here? We don't need all this stuff. We need this stuff actually instead. And he was actually able to tip the scale in his direction, and he was the one that eventually resulted in making the decision to purchase the solution, which of course was ours. But what I'm seeing is in a lot of cases, just because you win the IT person, the IT leader's heart, does not mean you have the sale closed, and that's only because the IT leader is not as close to the customer service issues as the customer service leader is,
Mm-hmm.
right?
They
So that
they're there more to they're almost there more to sanity check the
they're
business
there
user
to, yeah, they're sanity
requirements.
check
And
from a variety of angles.
because
It
yeah,
could be financial, it could be technology, etc. Right?
and in that example you provided, our great Canadian partner, the IT the business user wanted to spend $5 million on a new platform, and he gave a bunch of reasons for the $5 million spend, and the IT leader was basically, hey, help me stop this from happening, because we are not spending $5 million, but can you help me validate that these features and functions and these problems, can you solve them or not? And so we did, and we were able to, and we solved that problem. Now, sad story here. The business user wasn't super thrilled that he didn't get his shiny new toy. However, long story short, largest partner in Canada and one of our largest customers, and has been so for over 15 years. So, while Joe's story is really critically important to know that, IT needs to sanitize what some of these business users will, look for in terms of shiny new features and products, but do they really solve problems? Are they really necessary? So it's important to know that the endorsement's required, and the IT leader could kill your deal at any given time.
Absolutely,
He
absolutely. So you
certainly
don't want
he
to.
certainly killed that other vendor's deal,
There
which
you go. Yeah, you don't want to bypass these folks. So then we move on to this next factor. Typically, the IT leader will go to their current voice and data service provider first for the contact center, which is
yeah,
which is natural to expect, right? I mean, if they're accustomed dealing with a vendor that they trust and they like working with them, they're going to want to try to get as many things from that vendor as possible. So it's in our best interest at Intermedia to first of all be that voice and data service provider as much as we can, and we have that cloud portfolio to certainly measure up to that, and more. The list of things that's included in the Intermedia Business Cloud is quite staggering. So there's no reason why we can't have that trusted advisor status in many of these relationships.
which a lot of
So,
the folks
but
on the call already have that, right? They are the
exactly.
IT leader in most cases, right? So we take a little bit of this
Leverage
tongue in
that.
cheek and grain of
Yeah,
salt. Yeah, yeah.
leverage that status, right? Leverage that status.
Mm-hmm.
And when I say Intermedia, I'm talking about you folks, because you're reselling from in different intermediate products. So leverage your relationship expertise with these folks to get into these different areas of business. Next one here, will then source vendors after they had that first discussion with the incumbent voice data provider. So again, we go back to the same point as before, where hey, we like dealing with you, and we've seen in some cases where even if the vendor that they trust so much does not offer that CCaaS service, you'll go to them and say, okay, well, what would you choose?
Yeah, find
Look,
find us something, recommend
yeah,
something to me. Yeah,
exactly. Fortunately for us, we bring everything to the table, right? Some more fast facts. The IT leader will be looking for the vendor that can most easily work with their existing infrastructure. So again, remember this, because this guy is responsible for the company from a technical perspective and IT perspective. They want to know that hey, we don't want to bring a solution here that's going to wreck everything. We won't. But the good news for us is that we're vendor agnostic.
yes, we
So
are.
they like to hear that when they bring that to the table and say, well, hey Joe, well, let's just slow your roll here, brother, because we have a pretty mixed environment. We got my telephone system over here. We got some old Nortel stuff in the background over there. We got a Cisco network over here. We got all these different things. We're like, hey, it's okay, man. Take it easy. Have a sip of this coffee over here. Let me tell you something. We are vendor agnostic. It's okay, right? And again, we've won deals like that, right? What else? So the IT leader will be looking for the vendor that can most adhere to security and contractual policy. So that's a huge thing, especially in verticals and in industries where security and compliance are key. Andrew, how many times have we seen that?
Oh, I mean, it's obviously it's if you're in a medical industry, you want to maintain HIPAA compliance, or if you're in the payment processing industry, PCI compliance.
Yes.
So it is. I mean, when you think about the role in IT, they're not going to validate features and functions, but security and contractual policies is definitely one of the things. So it comes up on every call, for the record.
Yep.
How our data is accessed and stored, and we are
And then
compliant, which we've talked about.
we are exactly. And then finally, the IT leader will be looking for the vendor that can most keep customer service happy. Because you see, the customer service leader is looking to the IT leader, saying, "Hey, listen, I have some serious problems here. I need some help from you to fix it."
Mhm.
So the IT leader is very much treating the customer service leader like a client of his. I have a client need from the customer service lead here that needs to be fulfilled, and I'm going to see what I can do best to fulfill that. So we talked about some fast facts for the IT leadership. We're going to now get into some conversation starters because we recognize that in most cases, your first line of contact in some of these companies and these end users will be the IT person, right?
Yeah.
So we're leveraging that. We're leveraging. So that's okay. That's fine. Let's start with that relationship that you have. Here's some conversations to steer the conversation in the direction of a contact center topic. And we start off with something like, what are the challenges you have in supporting the customer service function of the company? That will open up a whole bunch of different answers, right? It could be a vent session if they have problems. Oh my God, this guy is driving me crazy, type of thing. That's good. That's good stuff to hear because
Well,
we have seen.
if they're using hate by hate, it's probably they've had outages, right? And or if they're
Oh
using Nate
yeah,
by Nate, probably something similar. That's true.
um, so yeah, so it's good to have that convo and be that shoulder for them to cry on because you have stuff to help him. You can also ask, what technology concerns do you have in the current IVR ACD call recording reporting platform? Because in many cases they're going to have one, right? They're going to have some sort of a they're going to have a solution of some sort. It could be a hodgepodge thing. It could be stitched together. It could be put together with plasters, whatever. But you want to start with a baseline understanding of what is it that you can do right now, what is it you cannot do right now, what is it that you wish you could do right now.
And so just to add on to that, Joe, and
Mm,
I reiterate this all the time, and this is something you hear me say, but everyone on this call, I mean, these are big, broad conversation starters, but
yeah, yeah.
we sell on pain, and I know that's a weird thing to say, but nobody's going to show up for an hour, demo of a call center solution, or spend thousands of dollars and many man hours and changing out their call center solution unless they have pain. Don't book Boone for a demo if the guy just wants to see what's under the hood. What kind of problems do you have and how can I help you solve those problems? That's how we win. And so a lot of these conversation starters are really just to uncover pain points. Like, I'm with 8x8 and I'm having outages. I'm with Ring Central and it doesn't do these 5 things. I'm with 5.9 and they just raised my rates by 90%. Like, whatever the pain point is, right? Feature, functionalities, cost, service levels, we can address those pain points. And I just hammer that home over and over again. And in fact, we've even stopped banting out our opportunities, budget, authority, need, and timing, to pain, or to pact, which is pain, authority, consequence, and timing. Because budget comes if you've got pain, but there's no budget without pain. And I think you guys, I saw a thumbs up. Thanks, whoever that was. I got one thumbs up, and that's all I needed.
Yeah,
Anyway,
but
Joe.
yeah, but that neutralizes the thumbs down you got earlier for the Mac
Fair
comment.
enough. So now I'm even again. Yeah, good point. So we need pain, right? We need to
Yeah,
find out what their pain. And the IT guy will have pain. The CEO will have pain. The CRO will have pain. The customer service manager will have pain. The actual customer service agents will have pain. And all of it, depending on how big the pain is stuff that we can absolutely tap into.
yeah. Speaking of Mac, in the other world of Mac, moves, ads, changes. That's another
Ah,
question you can. You like what I did there? Eh?
that's pretty
That's
good
another.
segue.
Yeah, that's another question you can ask the IT leader. How quickly are you able to meet the moves, ads, changes demands from customer service?
Hmm.
Um, Because
This is
go
a
ahead,
real
go ahead.
problem because in the
Yeah,
old legacy time, Joe, what happens, right? You're on a Cisco call manager. The IT
yeah,
guy's responsible for making changes.
of
And if
course.
they're busy and they're not aligned with the business user, those changes are 6 months. And sometimes that, where I'm laughing, obviously 6 months is insane. But even if it was, 60 days, we can absolutely put the power back in the person who owns the budget. Like the customer service manager should be able to go in, make a move, add, and change. Will not need a degree in Cisco to do this, and that's
Yeah.
one of the big things. And that's where you can uncover pain point. Well, my IT department is just overwhelmed with moves, adds, and changes for the business group. Well, you know what? I got a way to solve that problem for you, right? So it's pretty
Right.
interesting.
Exactly. And then we follow up with some very quick and easy questions like who is responsible for the IVR problem? And that, of course, is depending on if they have one. And one thing that Andrew talks about all the time is you want to dig up some intel on a company. Try reaching them. You might get lost in a never-ending IVR, right? Then
Yes.
then you have something in your hand to go and talk about, right? You
Oh,
can
I love
ask.
calling.
There
It's
you
my
go.
favorite. I just love
Th-
calling and finding the holes. It's true.
then you're empowered to ask a question like, who is
Mm.
responsible for the IVR problem? And the IT leader wants to be smart with you. Say, what problem are you talking? We don't have an IVR problem. And you say, well, actually,
Well, they might
I
say
was
we don't
on
have an
the.
IVR. What is that? Oh, sorry, it's your auto attendant. We're back to the to the basics. I love it. It's true.
uh,
Somebody somewhere is carrying this pain, though, right? I mean,
yeah,
that's really the
exactly.
idea.
And you know what? Like Andrew, that's a good point. Somebody is carrying the pain. And if it's not the IT guy, he can help put you in front of that person who's carrying that pain. But you don't want to bypass. Well, you guys are all, you're all seasoned on this call. You know not to bypass your. You don't want to. This person, the IT guy, took you to the dance. You don't want to leave the IT guy to go and talk to somebody
True.
else. All right. So when will it be time to look at the call center systems? Again, some quick little probing questions to try to figure out from the IT guy if he's responsible for this stuff. If not, hey, could you put me in front of the guy who does handle this stuff? So we talked about the IT leader. We're going to accelerate a little bit. We're going to talk about the customer service leader because I see some of you folks are putting some questions in there, and we want to jump in on some of those questions. Okay. So the customer service leader, the business user, here's some fast facts on that guy. Now, I hope you all enjoy the wonderful graphics that I have in this deck. I took a painstaking effort to find free online images to make sure that the color scheme is similar and there's no blank
Wow.
space.
Wait a
You see, I'm
second.
getting thumbs up. That's got some great thumbs up. So that means you
Yeah,
guys like it. Thank you very much.
those
Oh,
guys probably work in marketing. That's the only
there
reason
you
they
go.
thumbs
There
you up.
you go. Got clapping hands now. And now we're really bringing the house down.
The last
Okay.
guy looked like he had indigestion. This one looks a
Uh,
little bit better.
Well, that's again the last guy. Yeah, that's right. But
Yeah.
this guy's a friendlier one. So he is the customer service leader. Here's some fast facts on this guy. He is usually, I say usually because in some cases it could be different.
Mhm.
This person is usually the principal decision maker, depending on the customer size and culture. Now, the reason why we say this person is the principal decision maker is because if the guy's title is VP Customer Service, VP Customer Care, VP Customer Success, whatever, then we know that person is being paid to solve the customer experience problem in that company. He is staying up at night and when he sees Joe Hurdy and Andrew Boone drop a bad comment about his company, he's just, man, I want to kill those guys. But in a more constructive way, he's thinking, I have a problem to fix here. I need to figure out how I'm going to fix this. 2 or 3 times winning the endorsement will win the deal. Absolutely.
Yes.
Because again, he's the one staying up at night and he's the one with the executive mandate to fix this problem. He is the main target for demonstrations. And I'll tell you why. Hold on. Either him or somebody who reports to him, because
Mhm.
it depends on how close he is to the action. But the bottom line is that he will be closer to the day to day issues and gripes of the customer service team than the IT leader, just because they report to the customer service leader, not the IT guy, right? So he will be aware of the challenges. If he has a manager who reports to him, the manager will be saying, "Hey, I know you're asking me for these KPIs every week, but I just can't pull the report." Right? You're asking me for things I can't produce. So, and of course, the customer service lead has to go and pump that up the food chain to the CEO himself. So, from multiple angles, this person will be familiar with issues that can be solved in a demo, and he needs to be the audience for that demo. Typically, This person, of course, like we were saying before, he will typically be the VP of insert word here, client, VP patient. Well, depending on the industry, customer is called a patient. Customer could be called a citizen if it's public sector related. Could be a subscriber, could be a member. This person needs to be the person who handles the customer pain. Um, and of course, for that very reason, by design, he is the key decision maker. So some more fast facts here. This person will be sourcing their own solution in some cases and
Oh yeah.
interviewing vendors. Yeah, this is not a broad statement here, but we have seen it many times. And here's an example. Um, a lot of folks, like let's say VP sales, if they when they get tired, let's say that they've been using Salesforce for a long time, and they're like, man, I'm tired of this, man. It's Salesforce is great, but it's become so complex. I lost my Salesforce admin. I don't know what I'm doing anymore. My salespeople are griping. I need something simpler. Is he going to go to the IT lead and say, "Hey, find me something"? Yeah, he probably would, but he may also look himself because he is the expert on what's needed. He is the one that's digging around in a sales or a marketing CRM every single day. He's the one doing his own custom dashboards. He's the one looking up the reports. He's the one asking his own sales team to do things in a certain way, manage opportunities a certain way, all this type of stuff. He is the expert on what he needs. He's also the expert on the issues that he's having. So, who is best to articulate those issues to a vendor than him? Same thing on the customer service side. So, I'm just drawing a parallel there, right? Um, improve my management experience and ease of use. So, again, we kind of talked about that just now with all the dashboards and the reports and stuff. He knows exactly what dashboards he needs to see, he knows what reports he needs to see. So he would best be able to articulate that to a vendor. And finally,
This
improve. Sorry, go ahead, Andrew.
this person may also be the person that tries to, land a $5 million Genesis solution as well, which never really goes over very
Yeah,
well.
exactly.
Okay, delusions of shiny objects and grandeur.
See, that's why you can't leave out the IT lead because in some cases, he could very well be the one keeping this guy in check.
Yeah.
Every company has different dynamics, right? Different relationship dynamics, all that stuff. Another final fact here is that he he may be saying to the vendor, improve my agent experience and ease of use. And it could be by way of CRM integration. It could be by way of just give me something that's easier to use, a nicer interface,
Fewer
etc. Right?
clicks. Yeah, this comes up all the time.
Fewer clicks. Hey, right now it's taking my agent 2 minutes to do this because he has to click 15 things. Well, you wouldn't. You know what? You could click 3 things with us and get the same thing done. Boom. Could be sold. That right there could sell it, right? So
Fewer clicks. I like
here's
that.
and now we have another graphic here. So I want you to understand the flow here. So in this one here, we're giving you we're giving you some facts about the guy. Here's a day in his life. Now we have enough facts and we've demonstrated that we know what a day in your life looks like. So now he's smiling at us. He knows that we know all about him. But he has his hands folded, so he's still guarded. So we still have to play this game carefully, right? Here's some conversation starters for the business user, right? How much effort I mean, we're starting very basic, very vague, very open. How
Mhm.
much effort does it take a customer to order or resolve an issue with your company? That's super basic, right? You buy a laptop from somebody. Okay, it's not working the way I thought it would, or this software that I thought was included is not, or something is wrong. How easy is it to deal with that? Do I just go back to the store? Suppose you didn't buy it from a store, you bought it online, like most of us these days. Okay, how easy is it for me to get a hold of somebody that I got this from? Is the help desk functional 24 hours? And say I do get through to somebody over there. How equipped will they be to handle my situation? In other words, how easy is it to do business with this company? Right? That's one of the key things. That's where you start things off. Would you consider your company easy to do business with? Another one. What are the challenges you have in supporting the customer service function of the company? And again, based on the things that we went through in the last two webinars in terms of prospecting and building up some intel, you can go in and ask these questions with the perspective of having some intel, so you can know when you ask him what are the challenges you have in supporting the customer service function of the company. If he says, "Oh, we don't have any issues," you know that that's not the case
Or
because
you're
he
not talking to the
found
right guy.
Yeah,
He's
yeah,
a con man.
exactly. By
By
the
the
way,
way, those
folks,
first
excuse
two questions, most people are going to hang up on you if you ask them those first two questions. But the third question is
yeah,
really no. I mean, honestly, it's
mm,
like it's one of those. It's so open and makes you think.
yeah.
But the third system is really important because
Because we
ultimately,
get tactical now. We get
there you go.
tactical. What
Now we
systems
can.
are you using today? Boom. Okay, we're getting very tactical. What systems are you using today for customer service? Are you using your PBX or your UC for that? I know there's some features in there that some people use for that. Do you have a contact center right now? If yes, what type? Is it a hardware based, on-prem based?
When's
Is
your
it SaaS
contract up?
based? When's your
When's your
contract
contract?
up?
My favorite question.
Um,
Right?
yeah, what type of CRM do you use? You're asking questions because remember we can facilitate all sorts of integrations, right? So you're arming yourself with this knowledge so you can have follow-up questions. Um, how quickly are you able to meet the move? So we have some more of this stuff. Wait a minute, is that the? Do you have yeah? So it was a similar. I'm just wondering if I use the same thing from the IT thing and threw it in here. But anyway,
It's similar. You didn't, but it is
yeah,
similar.
yeah.
By the
So
way,
I'm
that
just
guy
making
looks like he's
sure.
grimacing. I don't think he's smiling. I think he's, oh, when is this end going to
Yeah,
end?
when
I
is
think
this
that's what he's
when
saying.
is this going to end? So we're going to speed things. Yeah, yeah, exactly. So we're going to speed it up because we don't want to keep him waiting any longer. Here we go. Same for all of you. We don't want to keep you guys waiting too much longer because we have questions to answer. We're going to skip that one. Do you have the staff internally or outside the organization in terms of your customer service folks? They could be remote, they could be part time, they could be seasonal. What's your preference? Do you do it yourself or use a vendor?
Do you know why
These
that's
are
important
all.
though, Joe? We handle moves, ads, and changes on their behalf where we
Yep,
can,
yep.
right? So
That's
that
right.
gives them an option because some people don't want to take this on, guys, right? Some people
Yeah.
want you to manage it for them. This is a good question to ask, without a doubt.
How do you measure staff in interactions with their customers? How do you know who needs help and who is? Well, I don't know why that's best practices are. It's
Who
who
to
do you
base
know is
best practices
adhering?
on?
Yeah,
Yeah.
how do you know is adhering to best practices? Right. This
Hmm.
is where you get into all the different types of like the evaluator tool that Andrew was talking about, and all the different types of reports you can dig up to show how this person is doing or how this team is doing as opposed to those others and so forth.
That third
Um,
question, you just hope that he says it's IT or she says it's IT and it's going to take 6 months. And then, the skies will part, the rains will clear up, the sun will come through the clouds, and you'll be submitting your CCaaS order, right?
yes,
Because
that's
it's
right.
quite possibly the easiest and most frequent opportunity for sales.
And folks, listen, you don't need to memorize all these questions and stuff.
Yeah.
This will be made available online on the Intermediate Partner YouTube channel, as well as all the other previous webinar trainings we've done. So you can just refer to that, and you will get all the wonderful stuff. Here's a couple more. Is your contact center primarily used to retain customers you've already sold to, or create loyalty, upselling? This is good because it will help you know what features to position in front of him. So,
Right.
Andrew, for example, what would you position in front of somebody who is interested in retention versus somebody who is interested in upselling or growth?
Right. So some people want to reduce the costs, which is,
Mm,
reduce people, which we can help with through automation. But if my job was I want to improve customer experience, improve retention, I'm going to introduce maybe some automation, some integrations with application layers so that we can route calls to the right agent, highest skilled agent all times. And I'm going to use evaluations, Joe. Right. I'm going to take my
yeah.
worst three agents and I'm going to bring them up, and I'm going to do that through evaluations, a little bit of public shaming, and regular feedback so that they can get better at what they do. And if you're as smart as Google, you throw the whole thing out the window and you only route the calls to the agent that has the highest CSAT scores for the
Hmm.
day at all
Yep.
times. And then but these are little plays, but it's all the same outcome. But that's an amazing question, because is it a cost center or is it a profit
Yeah.
center, right?
That's
Those are
right.
the two
That's right.
things. Like, do you look at your call center as a way to just keep the lights on, or is it really how you're going to grow your business? And
Yeah.
it doesn't matter. There's no right or wrong answer. It just helps define how we approach the deal.
This next question here is really opening up the floor for us to show off our reporting depth. So you ask,
Yeah.
how do you manage your customer service today? Do you use call center tools like IVR, ACD? Do you use call reports and review recorded calls? Do you rely on CRM mainly for customer data? So this is just opening up the floor for us to flex muscles on the reporting side.
No
Whoops.
doubt.
Um, do you feel you're getting the help you need from your current systems and vendor in meeting the needs of your customers? Um, Yeah, so if they're dealing with somebody else, if you have a customer and you know that they're using another vendor for different things, you
That's
want
just a
to.
nice way. That's just a nice way of saying, "Hey, how happy are you with Hate by Hate?" Right? It's like,
Yeah,
are you really
exactly.
unhappy? All right, let's go. I mean,
Yeah,
ultimately, right?
that's right.
And by the way, most people, not most, but there's a lot of opportunity to satisfaction with some of these competition competitors that we run into and you'll run into, and we
Yeah,
displace all of them so well. I just want to give people that confidence. It's one of the joys of my life, showing up to a call where the customer's been on 8x8 for 3 years and they've experienced all the outages and problems and pain points that kind of go along with it. Not saying that there aren't people that have positive experience, but that negative experience really
yeah.
really is
You could
it's a good time.
twist it like a thorn in the side.
Yeah, it's a good time.
Um, this next one here is we kind of talked about this before, where
Yeah.
we're trying to get an understanding of how easy is it to do business with you. Do you have any bad reviews online? Of course, you can't hide behind that because it's easy for anybody to find them. What are the strategic goals of the company? This is a bit high level, right? But it's good to okay, let's say you know him a little better. You can ask him high level questions like this, and you want to find out, well, okay, what's the goal of the company? Are you guys focused on growth? Are you guys focused on A or B? Because that will help you with
Yeah.
follow up answer. If they're in growth mode and they're expanding and they're growing in different locations, then you have a great story to tell. If, for not only CCaaS but other intermediate products.
Yes.
If you know that we're going through a bit of a rough patch right now, we're trying to consolidate operations into one branch, you have things to offer him there as well. So it's just a matter of trying to understand what's the overall direction of the company. What are the key metrics or KPIs that your department is responsible for? Again, opening up the floor for our reporting depth and business intelligence capabilities.
I mean,
Moving on.
what is this all leading to, right?
Yeah, this is
Where
exactly.
is the pain? What kind of
Where is the
problem?
pain? Where's the pain? And just having some conversation starters, right? Are you getting the reports and dashboard? You realize that's coming up all the time. It's just different ways to ask the question. What do you think of non-voice channels for your contact center? This is opening up the floor to, hey, customers are trying to reach you on their preferred method of communicating. They got some people who, I don't feel comfortable talking to somebody on the phone right now. I prefer to message them or whatever, right? So you want to make sure that you are capable of meeting your customers' needs on their preferred channels, right?
Yes.
This is the last one, I promise. What technology challenges or concerns do you have about your present setup? Any thoughts on caller self-service, or we get into the IVR side of things? What people or process challenges or concerns do you have? And there's a whole bunch there. Are you overstaffed? Are you understaffed? Are you a seasonal business? Are you in growth mode? Do you have a whole bunch of different products and services to support? Do you
Hmm.
have regulatory or policy challenges? Are you in the
Sure.
middle of a change management program? Again, these will be all made available in this whole thing is being recorded. You'll see this, but these are a whole bunch of different conversation starters to arm yourself with when you get in front of this profile of person, this business user, right?
Well, that's the compelling event here, right? Like, and
Yes,
that's another word we use a lot. But without a strong enough compelling event, this is never going to happen, right? I mean, this is like buying a house. Unless your house is leaking a roof and you got lack of room, you're not going to go out and buy a new house. And it's just such a traumatic experience
Tomas.
for the
That sounds
yeah.
French. Is that
I thank
French?
you. Well, I'm
Okay.
not really French Canadian. I'm a Newfoundlander, but it does, right? It's somebody has to be experiencing enough pain to go through this process, and you guys have some of you have seen it. You've seen the demos. You're sitting through those painful webinars. It's a big deal of a product to sell, and
It's a
you've
big,
got
yeah,
to
yeah.
there's got to be a big enough compelling event to make it worth
But
your
you know
while.
what? And before we jump into the questions, the good news is that there's a whole CCaaS overlay team at Intermediate that's here to back you up every step of the way. We
Yes.
talked about that in the last couple of calls. I'll reinforce that every time we have a webinar training. Don't be deterred by the complexity of this product. It's solving a very fundamental problem. It's customer experience. Once you understand that, you'll know how to pitch it. You know how to prospect, right? But you have a team on this side over here that will help you with demos. Will help you with marketing material. You're talking to somebody who owns a supermarket. You want a success case? Boom, we have it.
Yeah. Account
We're
planning,
here to
deal
step you
reviews,
exactly
pack
deep.
plans, anything.
Anything that you need, we go deep on the co-selling and the co-marketing side. We're here to back you up. Let's jump into some questions. Why won't Pro and Elite, not retail IVR, do a ring
Um,
all versus sequential ring?
RP, do you have my email address? Maybe you can reach out to me on the back end and we can talk about that. That's just a product decision. There's a delineation from Express, Pro, Elite, and Retail IVR. And one of the big ones is we need to have an agent present for a lot of this stuff to work right, which doesn't work in a ring all situation. But if you reach out to me, I can kind of give you some insights, and we could probably talk through it as well. That was probably not applicable for everyone on the call, but we have the ability to do ring all in our retail. We just haven't. Anyway, hit me offline. This is probably not the right forum.
Okay.
This is a great question, though.
This is a wonderful question. Please expand on this idea of vendor agnostic. Andrew, go ahead, jump in on that. This is one of my favorite topics.
Yeah, and it's just, it applies to Pro and Elite. And what it really means is at the telephony layer, we have the ability to route calls to the agents regardless of what phone they're using, right? So I think if you buy our Express product, you need to have a Unite client in order to get Express, right? Every agent that has be part of those Express queues needs to be logged into Unite. Well, with Pro and Elite, it's vendor or phone agnostic, if you will. So we just route the call to an agent's 10-digit DID. And why this is kind of important is that a lot of new customers don't want to rip and replace. They got that Cisco Call Manager 4 years ago. They paid $500,000 for it. They're not using all of the features and functions. They need a call center solution, but they don't want to rip out that whole PBX. So you have the ability to provide the CCaaS solution over the top of that existing Cisco or whatever phone system they're using, even if they're all using mobile phones, without them losing any functionality, improving their outcomes. But the usual outcome there is a year down the road, 6 months to a year down the road, the vendor's coming back to you and saying, okay, now I want to move to your hosted solution. So the CCaaS just becomes kind of a gateway drug to deeper telephony integration. But it makes it easier for you to sell because somebody might be using an old Avaya and they have DIDs, but they want chat and email, and they want better reporting. Easy solve, right? Or any phone system for that matter. I mean, we've even done over the tops on top of Ring Central, which is bizarre to me. The other big thing of being vendor agnostic is in a disaster. Imagine your call center blows up, right? It gets hit with the coronavirus. There's a big bag over the building. Nobody can come to the office. Everybody is banished to their homes. Well, as long as your agents have an internet connection to log into the application and any phone number that we can deliver a call to, the customer experience won't change a bit. Even if and to the point where you could be on a cell phone as an agent, you could be a manager on your cell phone, and you could be a caller calling in on a different cell phone, and that manager can still live monitor, whisper, barge in on those calls, even though it's 3 different phone systems. So that kind of being vendor agnostic, obviously opens up some sales opportunities and just easier way to push the deals forward.
You got it.
All right.
I checked the attendee chat for questions, and I see you've been answering them. When did you find the time to do that? That's amazing.
You've been doing all the talking. That may not be true. I don't know. It was just a couple of questions from Marcy, and I would encourage you, Marcy, as well to if you want to talk deeper about dynamic notification, set up a demo. That goes for anyone on the call. If you want a deeper demo of the product, if you haven't seen it, or if you want to just dive deeper into a feature, hit your Intermedia rep obviously directly, and we'll tee it up and get you some live product demos and calls going.
And I think that is, I think that's it. I think that is it for today. Thank you, everybody, for sticking around. We're going to be covering a different topic every week, every Wednesday. So looking forward to seeing you folks again next week, Wednesday. Thank you very, very much for the clapping hands and the thumbs up, and for the thumbs down you guys gave Andrew. I like to rub that in.
Thank you. RP, aboon at intermedia.net if you want to reach out to me directly. I'm not sure who RP is. All right. Thanks, Joe. Thanks, all.
Thanks, everybody.